Okay, so I got some feedback from a student earlier in the semester who said the reviews they felt like weren't helping them enough to get ready for the test. And I'm always listening to my students, trying to think of what I can do um, that I still feel is going to prepare you and get you ready for the next class. When you leave me, you're going to be ready to be successful. But also, um, what makes you feel comfortable and what makes you feel like you can be successful. So this is always what's going through my brain. And so the student said in the past they had just been given the test with numbers changed, and I feel like that is not appropriate. As in, that's not really preparing you. You don't really know if you walk in knowing what the test is. It's not really a test. So I said, what can I do that I feel like is okay from my beliefs of pedagogy, but also going to make you feel better. So I came up with this idea. And so it's experimental. So I need feedback, and I want you guys to tell me if you like this or don't like this and what your feelings are. So here's the deal. I've done it for the chapter 3 test. This can go away. Ignore that. It's the 3 test and then the final exam. I've done it for both of those. So what I have done in concept here is you're going to have a quiz and a practice. So the quiz, when you click into it, you're going to get 3 problems. Okay, so I'm going to just say this one's 1, this one's 1, and this one's 1. Probably not the right answers. So I'm going to hit submit. And oh, shucks, I got all of them wrong. I have got a 0. So notice what it says here at the top. A score of 60% is required to receive credit for this test, for this assessment. So what does that mean? Well, I get to reattempt the assessment. But notice when I reattempt it, it's 3 different problems. So you get to keep doing this over and over and over until you get 60% or higher. Now, because it's three questions, you got to get 2 of them right, and you got a 66%. But what if you don't want a 66%? What if you want better than that? Well, you can keep doing this until you get 100. So you could just keep doing problem after problem after problem until you get the 100%. Now, you might be saying, great, okay, cool, but I got my 100%, but I want to keep practicing. And if you keep practicing, it will, and you had 100%, but then you get a 50% or 60%, you'll go down to the 60. Or you get a 30%, you'll go down to the 30. So once you get your 100, you want to keep it locked in, right? You want to keep that percentage. So that's what the practice is for. These are the two assignments are the same thing, okay? Except the practice doesn't count as a grade. It doesn't count for anything. It's just practice. So when you click into here, you're going to notice it's going to pull from the same sets of questions that you would have gotten in the quiz. It's going to pull more of them because it's just for you to practice, right? And so it's pulling 9 of them. And so you can just keep attempting and practicing and saying, ooh, do I know how to do that one? And asking for help, going to the tutoring center, asking me emails, whatever you need. But or looking in your book, looking through old homework problems, but kind of just getting an idea of this is to help me prepare for my test. Can I do these problems? Now, why is this a really good way of helping you kind of know what's going to be on the test and be prepared for the test? Well, so you can see, like on the quiz, it's pulling 1 question from those, 1 question from those, and 1 question from those. Okay, so the idea here is you're going to get different problems every time. But notice what's mixed in here. This is problem from the chapter 3 test problem number 1. So I actually put your test problems mixed in. So you're not going to know which ones are your test problems, which ones aren't, but they're going to be in there. So notice, look, all those test problems, they're all in there. So as you're going through, the more you do it, the more likely you are to have seen some of your test questions. So when you sit down and take the test, you'll be like, oh, I know this one, or I've practiced this one, I remember. But you'll also not be practicing just the problems on the test. You'll be practicing kind of the skills. And even if you get those are going to help you with the test problems anyway. That's my theory. That's my hope. I hope you guys, this makes sense to you. So same thing for the final exam. The only difference, the quiz, again, it's just going to pull a couple problems. But for the final exam, it's going to, when you do the review, it's going to pull 24 questions. The reason for that, your final exam is 24 questions. And how it's pulling is to make everything match. So on your final exam, you have 5 limit problems. So on this review, when it pulls, it's going to pull 5 limit problems. And you have 7 derivatives, so it's going to pull 7 different derivative problems. So the idea is you're going to get the idea of the flow and the pacing and how it's going to feel to sit down and take your final exam. This should be pretty realistic to help you get prepared. The one main difference between the final is multiple choice. These ones are not. So that is slightly different. But the all the final exam problems again are mixed in to the other problems that it's pulling from, so you have a chance of seeing some final exam and being ready. So let me know what you think. I'm still going to leave my old reviews there available as well. So I have my, my test 3 non-proctored, you'll be doing this at home. Here's the review materials, and you can still use those, and I'll talk about the test and talk about what to expect. So I would highly recommend still watching these videos and using these materials, but in conjunction with this practice, and you probably have a pretty good feel for what's going to be on the test. So I'm looking for feedback. I want to know what you guys think. And if you like it, I'm going to do the same thing for test 1 and test 2. You guys have already taken it, but for next semester. So they'll have this as a review, a way of reviewing for their tests for next semester. Just always trying to make it better. If you guys hate it, I'll take it away. I won't do it. So just let me know. Let me know what you guys think.